you don't do what we just saw. Doesn't matter if that person spat on you, whatever. That woman was fully handcuffed. She did not pose a threat at you. Nothing. She did not deserve a quick kick in the jaw.
Pascal.
Atlanta police officer kicking a woman in the face. She is on the ground. She is arrested. And she's getting straight up kicked straight in the face. Now, there is a little bit of a story here. I want to tell it first before we look at the actual footage, because like I said, it's pretty bad. Here is a little bit of the story here, okay? Now, it says APD were called to a Summerhill apartment for a domestic incident between a woman and another resident. The woman, who was detained on the concrete face down, was kicked in the face by an officer after she spat on his boots and pants. Okay? So that's the piece of that story. Now we're going to look at the footage, and I'm going to tell you this real quick. Of course, it's very short. It is very quick, but I have to say, viewer discretion is most definitely advised. Here is the footage. So as you can see, this woman is literally, she is arrested. She is face down on the ground. There's a moment where she gets up and tries to spit at this particular officer right here. All right. And then this officer obviously kicks her right in the face. Okay. Now, there's a little bit more to this story because obviously Atlanta PD caught wind of this story and they had to say something about it. So let me pull up their announcement. Of course, APD found out about this, so they had to say something. And shout out to Atlanta Uncensored because they're the ones who put out this video and have leaked everything, etc. But here it is. This is a statement from them, from APD, okay? Talking about the kicking incident statement. This is what it's literally called. Instagram kicking incident statement, okay? So on July 26, 2021, Chief Bryant and commanders within the APD became aware of a video posted on social media showing an Atlanta police sergeant kicking a woman in her head. Upon reviewing the video, the actions of the sergeant appear to be unacceptable. Appear to be unacceptable, okay? And we are also concerned with the apparent lack of reaction because, yes, his partner from the other officer present during the incident, because the other officer just stood there, didn't do a damn thing, didn't even go, bruh, no, stop, nothing. He didn't, she, by the way, because that clearly is a female officer, she did not knew a damn thing, okay? So the decision was made to immediately relieve both employees from duty, with the sergeant placed on unpaid suspension. I'm happy about that. Yay. Unpaid suspension. Okay, so he ain't getting paid. All right, this is an unpaid vacation he on right now. Okay, and the officer placed, the one that was just standing there not doing a damn thing, is on administrative assignment. So basically just chilling, desk work, basically. Okay, the Atlanta Police Department's Office of Professional Standards (OPS) was directed to open an investigation into the actions of all employees on scene, and their investigation is to be expedited. The actions of those in the video appear to fall outside our standards and training. However, it is important for the Office of Professional Standards, OPS, to conduct a thorough investigation to determine the facts surrounding this incident. Chief Bryant will monitor the progress of this expedited investigation and review the findings to determine the proper course of action. This is what just recently came out within a few hours of this video leaking. That very video that we just saw with our own two eyes, where there was a woman due to, I guess was detained due to a domestic dispute, all right? Handcuffed, face, stomach down. She leans up, tries to spit on this man, on this sergeant, and the sergeant kicks her right in the jaw. So there you guys have it. The man, of course, has been suspended, all right, unpaid suspension. But the other one that was just sitting there chilling, the other officer that didn't do a damn thing, is on administrative assignment. So I got to throw it over to the fellas. In my personal opinion, these guys, real quick, before I throw it over to the guys, this guy, most definitely, the sergeant needs to go bye-bye. In my personal opinion, definitely needs to go bye-bye. Fired, exterminated, not waiting for a letter of resignation of any sort. Fired. You don't do what we just saw. Doesn't matter if that person spat on you, whatever. That woman was fully handcuffed. She did not pose a threat at you. Nothing. She did not deserve a quick kick in the jaw. Fellas, what are your thoughts on this? I'm going to throw it over to T this time. What are your thoughts, man?
This officer, sergeant, could have definitely handled this situation differently. He lost his cool with the suspect who's already handcuffed and not a threat. If she did try to spit at him, big deal. I mean, I know it's a sign of disrespect, but just give her a verbal warning and back out of her way. For him to kick her that quickly, it's just a sign of his weakness. Unfortunately, he probably lost a good part of his reputation. Well, he probably had it coming. His pension, possibly as well, if he really gets to internal affairs and then wanting to, use him as an example. He has to already know at his level of rank that these things you should not be falling victim to. He definitely probably wish he could take this back, but it is what it is. Another point was reading the police department's statement. It's interesting that his I guess partner was also reprimanded for not stepping up. So I'm guessing they want accountability from everybody, where I guess his partner should have stepped in and stopped him. I'm guessing, that would be great. We don't see much of that at all. The good apples stopping the bad apples. So I mean, I do think that was a nice way of handling business by the department, because everybody needs to step up and follow by the department's guidelines.
It's very interesting because I'm going to say this too. I guarantee you this was not that sergeant's first rodeo in kicking somebody in the face. If he did it that way, with that knee-jerk reaction, that easily, with that much ease, I guarantee you this is not his first rodeo doing such act. And also, the officer that was watching the sergeant do as such, probably not the first time, nor will it be her last time she sees some other person behind the shield kicking somebody when they're down, literally. The other thing is, Roberta on Facebook said something, and I don't remember exactly the wording she said, but she said something along the lines of, sometimes you can't stop the people who are above you, but that person, that officer, could at least given it a try, could have tried at least. And that's exactly what it is. I get it. There's a lot of us that are worried about, that's the higher up, or that's my superior. I have to show him respect, and I got to have his six, etc. I get that. But there's also common decency. There's also respect of a human being. And kicking somebody when they're down is one of the lowest forms of disrespect I could ever think of. So if you're sitting there and you see something like that and that person's your superior, I feel like you shouldn't be scared to say what you need to say. But we see and hear about these things all the time, about how corrupt things can actually be with the boys in blue, the men and women in blue. If you suddenly retaliate or reprimand one of your own brothers, kind of thing, that suddenly you're a snitch, or you're not for them, and then instantly you're ostracized. It's like high school in a way. And I can only imagine that being what that woman was probably going through. Maybe, like I said, this could have been just a situation where she's like, hell yeah, kick her in the face. And also, we don't know what happened before. I'm not justifying anything about the kick. I'm just saying we don't know what happened before. But one thing I want to point out, this woman, there's a reason I had to put a block around her chest, because her shirt was ripped and her breasts were exposed, face down. Shirt was torn. So I don't know what kind of altercation they were going through, but it must have been something not so fun, right? It's just something to think about. And instead of trying to have some decency of maybe helping pull down her shirt, I don't know how aggressive that situation was. But at the same time, like, they just let her splay out like that, exposed, looking like a fool. It's embarrassing. Then on top of that, yeah, sure, she spat on them. God knows why. God knows what is being said between the two people too. Like I said, not justifying her spitting on them, but we don't know what words were being said. So I have to say, thank God to whoever filmed this video. Thank God to whoever filmed this video. The other interesting piece about this is that there are other news stations that are trying to get in touch with the person who actually filmed the video. And what's crazy is that the person who filmed this video wants to remain anonymous. I find that very interesting as well. Something to think about. Why does that person want to remain anonymous? Inquiring minds would like to know. Maybe something really bad was going down and they were filming it, and we just saw just that snippet. Imagine. So here it is. When it comes to that situation, clearly, when it comes to that cop, this most definitely is not his first time kicking somebody when they're down. And that officer didn't even flinch. Didn't even flinch when that sergeant kicked that woman that was on the ground. That says a lot about what's going on over there. And I feel like they should do even more due diligence in their investigation inside of that police department.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.